Well, we did it again.
Yep, we built our project this week, inspired by the DIY huntress herself.
Now, technically, we built two, mostly.
Mostly, but before we get into that, it's time for a make or break.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Rob.
And I'm Sarah, and I have a place to hang my hat.
Yep, we built a rack to hold our shop aprons, our safety glasses, and our gloves.
And we only threw out one attempt, which is pretty good, I think. But first...
All right, first up we have Josh Wright, who built a bar stool with just one 2x4. And I know what you're thinking, how on earth could you get a bar stool out of a single 2x4? Well, Josh figured it out and shared how he did it on his YouTube channel. If you're short on cash, but you have some 2x4s laying around and need some extra seating, this is the video for you.
This next project is actually something that I really want to make. Daniel Dunlap Woodworks made a DIY keepsake box out of hickory and added a pop of color with super glue and powdered pigment instead of epoxy. During the build, he shared some advice about making multiple cuts at the same length and that they don't need to be exact as long as they are consistent. Daniel, the box turned out beautiful.
Now, you guys may not know this, but Sarah and I are both huge ping pong fans, and we used to have a ping pong table in our workspace a few years ago, and we regularly made time to have a game or two during the day.
During breaks, of course.
Of course. That being said, when I found this project from Craft Workshop, I knew I was gonna love it. He made a custom ping pong / dining table hybrid, complete with a metal base and net. Now, it's a slightly smaller version of the game, but perfect for a smaller space, and yet large enough to beat Sarah at the art of pong.
Yeah, you wish.
If you need inspiration for a creative build, this is the video you should check out.
With spring right around the corner, or so I hope, it's time to start thinking about outdoor seating and proper patio furniture. If you are still sitting on store-bought garbage, then it's time to upgrade to something handmade. Johnny built this awesome sofa for his patio using 2x4s and 3 tools. That's it. He does a great job explaining every step of the build as well, so there's really nothing holding you back from attempting this build on your own. Personally, I would like to see this one painted in scarlet and gray.
All right, let's swing over to Instagram where Chris from Cow Dog Craftworks shared a sneak peek of the modern dresser build. He jokes about how it's a simple build, yet at the same time, it's deceptively challenging. But it looks so good.
Matt teased us with a cliffhanger video on Instagram to a project where he used crayon as an inlay instead of epoxy. This would be a really cute personalized sign in a kid's room.
Now, if you hate giant nightstands that get in the way, but you still want a place to put your nightstand things, you could always build a floating nightstand like Brian did from Hendrix Design.
Finally, we found this giant table completely made of reclaimed lumber that features a 40-inch Lazy Susan that was completed by Brand Reserve, and I just can't get enough of this. All right, it's project time.
Yep. You know, I'm starting to feel like this part is less about building things and more about teaching me patience and restraint.
Yeah, good luck with that. You did go a little bit overboard with this one.
A bit too far overboard. Here's how it turned out. The coat rack we're aiming for was the simple example shared by DIY Huntress a couple years ago.
It's simple but very pretty and also fairly doable on a week where I was on vacation for half of it, limiting our shop time.
Right. But as soon as I got planning, I started, adding things.
Like the C-clamps, which I thought was an awesome idea.
Yeah, and we've seen this done before, but every time the clamps are held in place with epoxy. But as Sarah mentioned, our time was limited this week, so I designed this ridiculous brace and planned to paint it to match our sign.
Moving forward, we took a 3¼ inch thick piece of MDF, cut up all of our pieces.
And I can already sense some of you knowing where this is going. You're not supposed to screw into the end of MDF. It just doesn't hold. I mean, it's sawdust and glue. But I was impatient and convinced myself that if I was just really careful, it would be fine.
Wrong.
Yeah, it all started falling apart very quickly.
And this all happened after we cut, painted, and prepared everything.
And by this point, it was 5 o'clock on the last day, and Sarah and Connor kind of needed to go home.
We all agreed that while it's fun to let our imagination run wild with these ideas, we needed to pace ourselves as we continue to learn.
Yup, so that night, I swung by the Home Depot, bought a pretty piece of cedar, and focused on building what the DIY Huntress told me to.
And it wasn't half bad.
Yeah, when Sarah came back the next day, we quickly screwed on some coat hooks.
And we used a pair of screw eyes on the end to hold our safety glasses.
This is what we should have done from the very beginning. We now have a cool rack to organize our PPE stuff in the shop.
And once again, we learned a bunch in the process. And isn't that half of the fun?
And I'm pretty happy with it.
So am I.
Thanks to DIY Huntress for the inspiration.
And once again, we invited you guys to build it with us for a chance to win some heart tools. It's time to award our giveaway.
This week we had entries from Wally Knot and Toolproof, who happens to be our winner this week.
Toolproof, Hart is going to be sending you a new Hart 6.5-inch circ saw, a 4 amp hour battery, and an LED light. Great, it's time for our next project.
Yep, and this time we're gonna build something a lot bigger.
Yep, we found an amazing video by the Toolbox Diva herself that walks us through building a faux beam mantle.
This is actually something on my honey-do list, and I'm rather excited to see how it turns out.
We realize that you all may not have a fireplace or need a mantle, so we're also going to link to another project by the Toolbox Diva where Tamisha makes a really clever floating shelf.
Now, if you decide to tackle either of these projects with us, be sure to post a photo on Instagram with the Make or Break hashtag for a chance to win some Hart tools.
This week, I want to give away the 10-inch miter saw, a 4-amp-hour battery, and the 20-volt hand vacuum to clean up after yourself.
That sounds like a plan. Thanks again for joining us this week. A special thanks to Hart for sponsoring this episode. Please be sure to click the thumbs up, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss a single episode.
All right, that's it. Break's over. Let's go make something.